music and entertainment, religion, medicine, and industry during that time period. From there, the museum captures the history of transportation in the Smoky Mountain region.
They had freight wagons, they had farm wagons, they had nice surreys.
The Smoky Mountain Heritage Center is more than just a gallery of historical displays. Outside are 8 log structures for self-guided tours and a 500-seat amphitheater for live entertainment at night.
We hope that people, when they walk out, they say, this was not only fun and informative, but we've got an idea how the people worked and what their relationships were here.
Lysandra Brown, Live at 5.
And the Smoky Mountain Heritage Center is the first of its kind for our area. It officially opens this Sunday at 1 o'clock. And for ticket prices and center hours throughout the week, check out the Live at 5 section of our website, WBIR.com.
Good stuff. Sounds like a good time, and we are just getting warmed up on Live at 5.
The mountains that drew them here look much the same today. Life nearby does not.
But in the middle of the cars, concrete, and computers, there is now a place for memories.
A place that preserves and teaches the ways of these people who came so far, risked so much, and fought so hard to make these Smoky Mountains home.
And welcome to Live at 5, live at the Great Smoky Mountains Heritage Center, a 17,000 square foot building, and it is all designed to tell us the history of the people who lived here and the culture. I'm Russell Biven.
And I'm Beth Haynes, and it really is an incredible facility. There is so much to see here, including an exhibit dedicated solely to Native Americans. It specifically honors the Cherokee, and almost every artifact in this area was found right here in Townsend. We're going to walk you through this particular exhibit coming up.
And also we'll tell you about an exhibit here, the transportation exhibit, how people got from place to place in these big mountains, what they used, and how they did it.
Plus, Lysandra Brown is doing a little mountain cooking. She joins us now with a quick taste. I tell you what, it smells good all the way in here.
For putting me in here with all of the great food. We are cooking up what you would say hearth cooking. This was before there were wood-burning stoves. We're cooking up some good stuff here. Just take a look at this. Oh yes, cornbread. We've got pinto beans. We've got blueberry cobbler. We've got gingerbread. I tell you, this is the place to be, and we're going to check back with these folks later who are cooking up a good feast for us here.
All right, you better save me some cobbler.
Yeah, I'm going out there.
I know, that sounds good. Thank you so much, Lysandra. We'll see you in just a bit. All right, thank you so much. Wish you were here. There's so much great stuff to see.
Yeah, and we're going to show it to you coming up throughout the hour. It really is a wonderful place. Beautiful weather down here in Townsend. Let's see what it's like across the rest of East Tennessee with a check of weather and Todd Howell. Hey, Todd.
Hey, Russell and Beth. Looks like a great show coming up, guys. Thank you very much. A good early Friday evening to you folks. What a beautiful day it has been. Blessed with beautiful sunshine again today. And Russell and Beth, let's go back to you guys.
Stand by. All right, Todd, thanks very much.
And we are standing in an area that's actually dedicated to pioneer living. This structure was actually a cabin that was taken from, I'm told, the Cades Cove area. And can you believe a family with 4 children actually lived in this dwelling here?
Incredible. And a lot of people made this whole center possible. One of them, former Governor Don Sundquist, and he joins us now. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Welcome to Townsend.
Well, we appreciate it. Why did you get involved with this project?
Well, I love history, and I love the people and the mountains of East Tennessee, so Martha and I joined together with hundreds of volunteers. That's what makes this place so interesting. To put this together in a way that would celebrate the past, thousands of years of early American natives, and hundreds of years of European settlers. And it turned out great. We can celebrate the past. We can teach our children about what people went through, the sacrifices they made. And so far, it's been a great hit. Tourists who come to the mountains, sometimes they're looking for places to go, and this is a great place. And it's not finished. We have lots of things yet to do.
Yeah. And we'll talk more about that a little later in the show. But I know you've had a chance to go through the entire exhibit. Do you have a favorite area?
I like the travel area over there, the transportation area. Have you seen that? The wagons? Yeah. Richard Wade donated most of those. But those are real wagons that were used, and you know, the good old days weren't so good.
Yeah.
They're tough. Yeah, some of those rides were tough.
This is, you know, it gives us a great appreciation for what, you know, they made their own furniture, they made their own tools, and they had
life's
to find
pretty
their own
easy
food.
these days.
Oh, it's a whole lot easier.
Well, speaking of that, how you guys doing?
Well, we're doing great. We love Townsend, and we love retirement, and if the ball football team gets better next fall, then we'll be totally happy.
Meanwhile, you got the basketball team.
Oh yeah,
Which you're very
doing
proud
so
of, I
well,
know.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you taking time.
Well, it's a privilege to be here. We're glad you're here, and I've been watching every day.
Well,
thank you so much.
Thanks very much.
And I know a lot of people will want to come and visit the center here. And here's just some information for you. Here are the hours of operation. Monday, they're closed. Tuesday, they're open from 10 to 5. Sunday, 1 to 5. At admission prices, it's $4 for adults. And there are the other prices there. And for more information, there's a phone number as well as a website you can visit.
And right now, we are standing in pieces of a cabin, but outside they have cabins that were donated, authentic cabins.
And that's where LaSandra Brown is, and I think she's cooking up something. How you doing, LaSandra?
Well, I'm letting the folks inside cook it, but it smells great. There are 8 different cabins outside of the museum. I mean, you walk through the museum first of all, and you see that there's so much to see, and then walk outside and there's even more. And this is probably my favorite part of the Heritage Center, is that you can actually see the homes that the people actually lived in. And we're standing on one of the log cabins that was donated by Wilma Maples, really well known in the Smoky Mountain region. She owns the Gatlinburg Inn and the Skylift, is that right?
That's correct.
Bob Patterson here. Tell me a little bit about this cabin here that she donated.
She donated this home, and she donated the cantilever barn next to it. And they both came from Sevier County. They came up off the mountain behind where the Gatlinburg Inn is. There's that mountain behind it. That's where these two came from. This was a Cardwell cabin, and the Cardwell family lived here. And if you look on the walls on the inside, you'll see that, like many homes around here, they papered it with old newspaper clippings. So
Let's walk inside. We can actually walk inside and see some of that. Now, she didn't actually live here. You said that
she did not.
Another family lived inside. Now, tell me about the walls that you were describing some of.
Well, you can see, like right here, as an example, you can see the old newspaper and magazine clippings that they would put on here on the walls to work as like good old-fashioned wallpaper.
Yeah.
So this is how it looked.
Did they try to do any type of patterning with it, or did they just put up whatever?
They just put up whatever they had available. They sure did.
And of course, they did a lot of cooking inside these cabins as well, and we're going to show a little bit of that later. So.
And then the family would sleep upstairs. Except usually the adults would sleep down here. In this cabin, I'm not sure yet. I've got to talk to the family, but they still exist, and some of them that are alive lived in this home, and so we're going to be able to get the living history of how they lived here and what the house looked like.
That's great. Well, it'd be neat for them to be able to come back and see this place.
They've actually been in today.
All right. Well, great. All right. Back to you, Beth and Russell.
All right, LaSandra, thanks very much.
And now we want to show you a little more of the structure that we were in, which we mentioned was an actual cabin that I guess was donated to the center here. This is the fireplace, and this was very important in a cabin. It served 3 different purposes. You cooked on the fireplace, you cleaned using the fireplace, but you also entertained your family and entertained guests. And it was the main source of heat for the family inside the home.
Absolutely, and we look over to this side. Over here you can see part of a bedroom. You have chest of drawers and a mirror there. And then right there to the left you have a chest where they kept all their blankets that they made by hand themselves. Obviously they had to be very domestic, self-sufficient, very hard-working. The food was primarily made and prepared by the women, and the house kept by the women, and boy, it is amazing to see how they lived.
Looking at the structure, you can tell where they cut the wood using an axe and how they put it together. It truly is amazing. A lot of work, a lot of time was put into this one dwelling.
Yep. Well, we have plenty more to come here in Townsend. Fascinating place. We're going to bring it to you on your sofa. Just hang out and take care. We'll be right back.
Stay with us.
Live at 5.
Oh, the sounds of the dulcimer and I'll Fly Away.
Yes, we've been singing along and tapping our toe. It really makes you feel like you're in the mountains.
Yeah, and
Great setting.
Mike Klemmer, his wife Connie here. How you guys doing?
Doing real good. Doing good.
Mike, real quickly, we want to hear you play, but how common was the dulcimer back in the day?
It was basically invented when the settlers came over, so it was catching on in this area probably in the middle to late 1800s. It was pretty popular.
And Connie is accompanying you with a particular instrument. Tell me the name of this.
This is a bowed psaltery, a psaltery that you use a bow on. The old timers used to pronounce it a psalter.
Psalter, okay.
Well, we're going to hush and let you play a little bit. So play us a tune if you don't mind.
Sure.
sit here and listen all day. Kind of got taken away there.
Go off to
Geez.
sleep. Boy, what a blessing to have them with us. We will continue to hear from them.
And I know one man that enjoys this music. Todd Howell joins us now from the Weather Center in the Channel 10 studios. How you doing, Todd?
Doing great. Yeah, just keep playing. Love that music. Absolutely. Great song, by the way, too.
Do you know what they used to clean with? To clean their home? This home is very clean. Any idea?
Brooms, maybe.
Well, made out of
self-made brooms.
Corn cobs and sand. And this exhibit here actually highlights some of the other tools they used. You've got a rug beater there, and then a washboard below that was actually used to hand wash a lot of their clothing.
Right. Wow. And Beth, they also used hickory, just to put in my expertise. You see a hickory broom back in the back that you just didn't catch by chance.
Just so you know, the exhibit is full of very descriptive facts and plaques that you can read as you go along and walk through the museum. That's how we know a lot about this area.
And talking about walking through the museum, people back then, boy, they had to walk an awful lot. But finally, they learned a little bit about transportation, and there's an exhibit here at the museum, at the center, that talks about the history of transportation in Townsend. Mules were a big part of transportation. Bob Patterson, director here, is joining us. Give us a little tour of this transportation room.
All right, I'll do the best I can. Mules were a big part of it. A mule, of course, is a cross between a donkey and a horse. And mules were not only a beast of burden, but they were a very important part of the farm life. But they were also expensive. So to have a mule, they treated them almost like a pet because they were so valuable.
Okay. And what do we have here?
Okay, over here we have, this of course is a McClung freight wagon. Now, for people who know the area know that McClung Hardware Store existed for years in Knoxville, and this was a freight wagon from about the turn of the century that was used to haul freight in and out of this region. So we've actually gotten it on display. It was donated to us, and it belongs here at the center now.
All right, and this little buggy, would a family use this? I guess they had to be pretty well off, huh?
That's right. If you remember the play or the movie Oklahoma, this is the surrey with the fringe on top. This surrey was actually used by a family in Knoxville to go to their home up at Elkmont. They would use this to travel to their second home up there. So it actually came through this area about the turn of the century again.
All right, and what is this, Bob?
Well, of course, this is a sleigh. It's a single horse sleigh used by a family. 2 people could sit in it, but what's important is people don't realize that they had sleighs in this area. There was enough snowfall that people could have a sleigh and use it in the wintertime. So that's kind of a neat addition, and that's why we put it in here.
All right, and talk about this mail carriage.
This is an important piece. This mail wagon was used in Townsend to deliver mail, rural free delivery, RFD, and this was one of the early postmen right here. This is John Oliver, and he was one of the postmen here, and if you'll look below, we have mail bags that they used. So those are the original leather mail bags that they used to help deliver the mail, very much like what he's showing here on his shoulder.
Very interesting to see how they traveled back in the day.
And you were saying that the postman would bring medicine and all
They brought just about everything. The Sears Roebuck calendar stuff, you know, they brought
Catalog
all that.
stuff?
Yeah, all that to the calendar, back to the house. But you know, you see the traffic sometimes in Cades Cove around the loop, and boy, it
can't really go up there.
Yeah, you get bogged down.
Slow.
Well, take a look at the very first car that went inside Cades Cove. It's a Cadillac, 1912. Was the year. This is a picture they have here in the Heritage Center. Amazing to think the very first car was that one, and now all this traffic.
Yeah. You know, I remember even when I was a younger child, we would come up and you could easily drive through the loop, but boy, how times have changed.
Yeah.
We got a lot more coming up on Live at 5 here at the center. We're going to take you through an exhibit dedicated to Native Americans, specifically the Cherokees. Plus, Lysandra is going to share a very long-time tradition with us.
Yeah, and we got a great band here in the dulcimer. Boy, we got a lot. Stay with us. Some bluegrass. We are calling them the Smoky Mountain Heritage Band.
Can't think of a better thing to hear as you're standing on a porch. We made that name up.
That's
Maybe
right.
they'll keep it. Well, you know, history and sense of family is one of the best things to pass down from generation to generation. And one of those traditions is something called Decoration Day. This was a way to honor those who've passed away. And back in the old days, they would decorate graves using paper flowers. And Lysandra Brown joins us now with more on these paper flowers. Hey, Lysandra.
Hey guys, these are the paper flowers and they actually look real, and I think this is amazing what they do. Again, as Beth said, on Decorating Day they would actually go out and decorate the graves with these. And Missy and Paulette are here making some of those. Now tell me how you all do this. You're using
Crepe paper.
crepe paper.
Crepe paper. And you just cut out a pattern that sort of looks like a heart. You tear them apart, you curl the petals and put them all together.
Yeah, and you were actually using that knife there to curl the petal. Can you do that real quick?
Sure.
I thought that was neat because that actually gives it the shape.
Yes, if you don't tear the paper. It just curls it up to make it look like a rose petal.
Yeah, and how long would it take to make one of these?
It takes about 5 minutes to make the whole flower.
Yeah,
to
and then
complete
you've got the green tissue for the stem there.
and for the leaves.
And so this was what they did. They didn't have real flowers. This is just how they...
They would decorate graves with these. If they didn't have enough real flowers, they would make paper flowers. They'd make them all year long and have them ready for Decoration Day and decorate all the graves with the crepe paper flowers.
And they'd look beautiful unless it rained, and we had
They
to...
would dip them in paraffin so it wouldn't ruin them then.
So that the rain wouldn't ruin it. All right, well, this is neat. I want to make one.
All right.
All right, back to you guys.
All right, thank you so much, Lysandra.
Lots more to come here, live at 5 in Townsend.
That's right. We're actually going to show you Native American artifacts that were found right here in Townsend. We're going to show you that coming up.
And also, before microwaves and stoves made it into the day, open hearth cooking was the thing to do. We'll do that as well. Stay with us, live at 5 on the road in Townsend.
We've got a great bluegrass band getting us into the mountain spirit here.
That's right, and we're talking a lot about the Great Smoky Mountain Heritage Center here in Townsend. It's a wonderful place. It does a great job of capturing the culture in the way it was back in there for the first East Tennesseans.
That's right, and Native Americans are a great part of that heritage. There's an entire exhibit dedicated to the tribes, particularly the Cherokee, who called this area home for thousands of years.
Each artifact and picture tells a story covering 5,000 years of Native American history.
It looks at so many different aspects of human culture: foodways, tools, pottery.
It's a tribute to the many tribes that roamed and settled in this area, specifically the Cherokee. Most of this history was uncovered in the 90s during the road expansion project in Townsend.
It started revealing a lot of Native American materials.
The materials span 3 different time periods: Archaic, Woodland, Mississippian, and Cherokee. They illustrate how, over time, these cultures advanced and developed innovative technology using their surroundings. Visitors quickly recognize many of the artifacts, from arrowheads and the Cherokee alphabet to the mortar and pestle.
Oh, mortar and pestle. I had one of those in my backyard, or I remember finding that.
The exhibit gives you insight into everyday life, from fishing.
The fish would swim into the basket and then not be able to get back out.
To where they lived. This is what a Cherokee winter home may have looked like.
It was a circular structure with probably wattle and daub, mud, and plant materials on the outside to hold the heat in.
And they changed with the times. These models show how.
The dwellings become less mobile because culture has been innovated in such a way that they are farming.
Lastly, through medicinal plants, the exhibit shows how Native American heritage continues to impact culture today.
Many of the medicinal plants that Native Americans developed and tried and used are in over-the-counter drugs.
A culture rich in history and tradition that's still thriving today.
It does tell the story of Cherokee people, or the predecessors of Cherokee people in this area, how long they were here, how important this area was to them, and then it kind of explains how they end up so close just over the mountain in North Carolina.
Oops, that'll be $10. Very neat exhibit, and in addition to the artifacts, The exhibit is very interactive. Actually, computer technology. We had a photographer knock something over. I apologize for laughing. But computer technology, it actually have Q&A boxes, so you can kind of quiz yourself as you walk through the exhibit, but very fascinating.
Absolutely. Another thing fascinating, open hearth cooking, and Lysandra is doing that.
Well, I'm not doing it actually, but I'm smelling it because this cobbler, my mouth is salivating. It smells so good. We've got a lot going on in here. We've got the cobbler here, we've got the pinto beans and the cornbread and the gingerbread, and these ladies have just been cooking all day for us. And Ruth is here to tell me what hearth cooking is. This was actually something that took place before there was even wood burning, right?
Early settlers that came into Tuckaleechee Cove, Wares Cove, and Cades Cove built their cabins and their fireplace, and that was most important. And then to cook, they built fires and used those coals and pulled out on the hearth for their Dutch oven cooking, and they also cooked in the pots over the fire while it was burning.
Now explain this. I see that there's ashes on top of the lids here, so how does that help with the cooking?
Well, really, they pull the coals out and set the Dutch oven in the coal. They pour the cornbread batter into the Dutch oven, put the lid on it, and then put more coals on top, and that's just some ashes that came with the coals.
So how long would it actually take to cook something over the
It
hearth?
takes about 30 minutes to cook a pan of cornbread and about 15 or 20 for a pan of biscuits.
All right, well, we want to open some of this up a little bit, and you actually use this guy here is going to help us because this is the cobbler, and it's pretty big, and it looks so good. Oh, just look at that. That looks great. And then we've got some cornbread in this one next. Now, this is almost done here, sir, isn't it?
Almost. About 10 more minutes.
Almost. And you just put it on it. You cook the blueberries first, and then what did you do?
Blueberries down, and then you add the blueberries to the batter and let them cook through it.
Well, I tell you, I know this was something they did a long time ago, but, I mean, it seems like the food would taste better when it's over the stove like this. Does it?
Food always tastes better outside.
Yeah, I think so too. And I'm ready for some of that cobbler when it's done. In 10 minutes, I'm timing you, and we're going to bring some into Beth and Russell too. All right, guys. Well, it smells great in here, and I'm ready for some good cooking. So we'll check back with you later.
I know. I'm hungry just listening to you talk about it. We're excited about that cobbler.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Lysandra.
We're also excited about our next guest, Willie Brickey. Good to see you. He has lived his entire life in towns and knows a lot about what took place here. And we're going to talk a little bit, Willie, about these tools. We have a blacksmithing gauge over here. Tell us what that did.
That was used to heat the metal so that it could be shaped, like for the horseshoes. Nails, which they use for the buildings.
Very cool. Now, above that, we see a yoke hanging on the wall. Tell us about this.
That's an oxen yoke.
Okay.
It was used when they used a team of oxen to pull with, like when they couldn't afford horses, they had to use oxen to pull as the beast of burden.
Okay, okay.
And they hunted bears, I guess, back in the day, Willie, right? Because we got a nice bear trap down here.
Yes, at one time there was a lot of bears in this area. The bear trap was used. It would, if you notice at the end of the chain, there's hooks. After the bear stepped into the bear trap, this would catch on something, and the hunter would have a chance then to track the bear down and take him home.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I know your family, I think, has been here 5 generations, so we appreciate you being with us today.
And real quickly, Willie and his 3 brothers all served in wars.
Oh, wow.
Amazing stuff. Korea and World War II. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Much more to come here on the road in Townsend. Stay with us. Yes, we have nicknamed them. We hope that they like that name. We are standing in front of an old schoolhouse, and this is a 1-room log structure. And this is Grace. This is Willie's granddaughter. Can you imagine going to a school in this building, going to school like this? No, it's kind of different. Huh? Was a 1-room, like we said, and on Sundays it doubled as a church. The tablets were replaced by hymnals, and the entire community would gather in here for church service.
Yep, all are under one roof, and there's also a separate little exhibit about religion and kind of music in the area, gospel religion. There's a bench there that shows it's a mourner's bench for folks when they had family members that passed away. Just some neat stuff to see.
And the bench was actually taken from Cades Cove, so really neat artifacts here within the center.
Yep. Earlier we had on former Governor Don Sundquist. He said, you don't have to worry about the traffic down here in Townsend.
Yeah, no traffic here. Tell you what, I've really enjoyed listening to a lot of the visitors as they walked through the exhibit. Two men stood right here, and there's a particular switch that reminded them of their childhood.
Oh, boy.
Apparently, if you misbehave in church or if you fell asleep in church, a deacon would come by and tap you on the shoulder to make sure you were awake and paying attention. So just some of the neat stories that you hear as the visitors go through.
Absolutely, and we have a lot more to come here from the Great Smoky Mountains Heritage Center, including some great music and a lot of other things. Stay with us, Live at 5 on the road in Townsend. Hanging out in Townsend, Tennessee, and bluegrass music, just a part of it. Boy, they have bluegrass on weekends. You can come down and just hear bluegrass. Of course, they have all the bluegrass festivals, the Old Timers Festival down here.
And it's great to tap along, and you even created your own jig here a minute ago.
Yeah,
you like to show that?
That's it. That's all that is, Beth.
Okay.
You want to show it? Brian, can you show that?
Maybe I can learn that.
There you go. That's all that
Just
is.
stomping the foot.
Yeah.
But you can't really, you can't help but tap your foot as you walk through and you hear the music here. You know, throughout the show, we've tried to show you a lot of artifacts. Well, not all of the artifacts are on display here at the center, and this is one of them. The moonshine still is at least 40 years old. Her name is Old Susie, and she belonged to a guy named Charles Williams. He's no longer with us, but his son actually donated this 400-gallon still to the center here, and it was hidden underground right in Townsend, and pretty neat. Cops, the law, they never found this still, and so they're working to preserve the still, and it's actually going to be on display, and they're going to show the 2 levels of the still because it's quite impressive.
And we have a guest with us here, not Old Susie.
I was warning about that. No.
This is Kathy Enos, and she is joining us to talk a little bit about a fundraiser coming up for the Heritage Center. And Kathy, what do you have going on for folks?
Well, on May the 19th, we're having our fundraiser. This will be our 3rd fundraiser that we've had for the center. It will be $100 a person. We are asking that if you want to be on the list to receive an invitation, that you give us a call here at the center. It's 448-0044. And any money that we raise by our guild, which is I am president of the guild, goes toward the educational funding of the center. So as I say, this is a sellout every year, and we would like for you to call if you'd like an invitation. We'll get on, we can get you on our list, and that's 448-0044.
And I know you appreciate all the community support.
Yes, we do.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Stay with us. Live at 5's coming right back.
And we have had such a good time at the Great Smoky Mountain Heritage Center. And we have some information for you, hours of operation. You can see here that they are closed on Monday, but there are times Tuesday through Saturday and Sunday. Also admission prices and contact information.
And we want to thank everybody for watching and all these folks that came down here to join us. Have a great weekend.
Here are Bill and Robin with 10 News.
Beth and Russell, thanks so much.